Welcome back to my channel. Audio Keller is back again with another amp dyno video of a classic Rockford Fosgate amplifier. This time I have the Punch P2002. This amplifier is rated 50 watts per channel into a 4 ohm load of continuous output power. This was measured with around 14.4 volts to 1% THD, and it's interesting because this amplifier has the same ratings like the classic Punch 100iX or the classic Punch 100.2. Can it keep up with the old school amplifiers? This video will clear the situation. So we test again dynamic power, continuous power, 50 Hz, 1 kHz. By the way, this video is subscriber supported. Thank you very much for sending this amplifier to me. Then let's go to the dyno. Enjoy! I'm really happy I can present this model to all of the Rockford fans out there. And I usually start with 4 ohms per channel and continuous output power with 1 kHz. Signal input. Here we have around 25.2 volts. And in this test with 1 kHz and all channels loaded, I have around 81.4 watts. Now I take a look at the amp's efficiency, how many amps will the amplifier pull out of my power supply. I apply full continuous power, 15.9 amps. I calculated an efficiency value of 74.6%. That's not bad for a Class AB amplifier. The second continuous power test was 4 ohm per channel loaded, but this time I do it with a 50 Hz input signal. Oops. Way too high. So that's okay. Take this one. And with 50 Hz I have 73.8 watts of continuous output power into a 4 ohm load per channel, both channels driven. Checking for dynamic headroom. I have a single shot here, all cycles the same level, but you can see we have the same maximum voltage. If I try to get a little more, it starts to clip. So we have no dynamic headroom with 20 cycles and 1 kHz. 8 cycles I catch for the last cycle, and you see here we have clip on both sides. We have both we have clip positive and we have clipped on the negative, and we have maximum voltage of 25.2. That means there's no dynamic headroom. I jump to the first cycle back, and it also says 25.2 volts. So this is no dynamic headroom. You can see some signs of clipping in the negative waveform. So even with 8 cycles, no dynamic headroom, 4 ohms. With just 1 cycle, signs of clipping here. This one is okay, but maximum voltage is still around 25 volts. That means we still don't have dynamic headroom. I show you if I raise the gain, it clips. We have no dynamic headroom, 4 ohms. Now I connected a 4 ohm load bridged mono to the amplifier. That means we have 2 ohms per channel, both channels driven, and I start again with continuous power test, 1 kHz. Oops. Too much. I take this one. The scope says maximum voltage 45.6, but this is not true. We have 44.8 volts. We have 250 watts of continuous output power bridged mono 4 ohms to the amplifier, and this is the same like 125 watts per channel into a 2 ohm load of continuous output power. Now I take a look at the amp's efficiency at 2 ohms per channel. That's 28.3 amps. The amplifier has an efficiency of around 64.6%. and this is a good value. I think we can of course try a 1 ohm test dynamic 50 Hz continuous power test. Now I'm starting. We still have a little bit of clipping I reduce my input signal because we have clipping. That looks okay. And I go down 42.4 volts. With 50 Hz input signal, I have a continuous output power bridged mono 4 ohms of 230 watts. That means we have 115 watts of continuous output power into a 2 ohm load. Now testing dynamic power, 20 cycles, 1 kHz. I catch one cycle. You can see all are at the same voltage level. And no clipping here. I jump first to the last cycle to check if there's clipping. That's the way I test the dynamic power, because I want to see all cycles are unclipped or almost the same voltage level. So it's okay. In this case, that means we have no dynamic headroom. If I go higher, I get clipping. I will skip the 8 cycle test and go to the 1 cycle test to see if there's a little amount of dynamic headroom. I see some clipping in the negative one. Yeah, that's clipping. I go back a little bit. But I think we can stop this testing here. It's okay, but we also have the same voltage. Okay, we have maybe 45.2 volts. This is absolutely peak power, 45.6 or 2 volts. That's not a big amount of dynamic headroom. The amplifier is doing bridged mono 4 ohms, 266 watts. That means into a 2 ohm load per channel 133 watts. Just a few watts more. Now I try to make a continuous power test with 1 ohm per channel. That means I have a 2 ohm load connected bridged mono to the amplifier. That's the same like 1 ohm per channel, both channels driven. And now I try the harder test, the continuous power test, because we had a good efficiency and the amplifier was pretty cool and did not get warm. I apply my input signal. I hope the amplifier will not run into protection. But it does some power. Oh, clipping. Try to fine adjust it. No clipping on the negative waveform. But the amplifier is still not in protect with continuous power test. It's not bad. Let's try to get a clean signal here. Positive is okay, negative is okay. I catch this one and stop this torture. So scope says we have 31.2 volts. In reality we have 29.6 volts. The amplifier puts out 219 watts bridged mono 2 ohms and 109 watts of continuous output power into a 1 ohm load. So it goes down. Now testing dynamic power, 20 cycles, 1 kHz. I have a surprise for you. It's higher voltage. We check the first cycle and we see free of clipping. I jump to the last cycle to make sure if it's also free of clipping. And it's free of clipping. So we have higher voltage, that means we have a lot of dynamic power into a 1 ohm load. All cycles the same voltage level, by the way. And scope says 40 volts. This is the true value. We have 38.4 volts. Dynamically the amplifier is delivering mono 2 ohms, 368 watts. That means we have an output power of 184 watts into a 1 ohm load per channel of dynamic power with 20 cycles. Let's switch to 8 cycles. We also have all cycles at the same voltage level. Let's take 38 volts. It's almost the same like the 20 cycle test. And I jump to maximum peak power 1 ohm per channel. But it's clipped. I reduce the volume to get clip-free signal, but the negative one is clipping, and now it's clean. Can reduce a little bit, the negative peak looks a little weird. That's okay. And we have 40 volts. The absolute peak power of the amplifier at 2 ohms mono is 399.8 watts, and into a 1 ohm load per channel is 199.9 watts. I'm going to change my setup and check how the amplifier will sound. As I mentioned before, this amplifier is rated 50 watts per channel into a 4 ohm load, and in one of my next videos I'm going to dyno another old school amplifier, the Punch 100.2, and this one is also rated just, I hope you can see this here, just 50 watts per channel into a 4 ohm load. I'm sure that the old school amplifier will outperform this guy with ease. And then we have a good comparison of both amplifiers which have the same manufacturer ratings, 50 watts per channel into 4 ohms. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you like it, why not leave a thumb or subscribe to my channel, and if you already did, please hit the bell button. See you next time, and thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.